Thank you so much, Kenny, Michael, and John, for your time. Do we have any questions for our speakers? I might just ask one just to kick things off. How can data analytics improve project efficiency and reduce delays?
If you're asking me that now, you didn't listen to my presentation.
Something happens, it's always too late, but like, is it the predictive piece that's the important piece? So
I think from our
I think from our
perspective, again, it can give you that early warning. So one, having the structure in place, so people are realizing, and you can see it now more. We're seeing in real time. I can be sitting in Dublin, I can see what's happening in Groningen at any one time, and I can go, one, our schedules, our reporting, is it up to date? Is everyone aligned on that? Then we can quickly see misalignments. So one, we're checking our reporting and the accuracy of our reporting, and we can do that in real time. That's been fixed, which means then as we get more reliable on that side of things, it allows us to spot things much quicker, because the data is coming and going, oh, we're seeing a trend in the wrong direction here. I'm looking at a site, piece of equipment hasn't landed. It was meant to land 2 days ago. Why hasn't that landed? And then we'll see other issues that are triggering off the back of that. So I just think it's just being able to have real-time data with teams that are not necessarily sitting on the projects. And they're there to support the projects, because our project teams they're already stretched with what's happening on the projects itself. So they don't have that perspective. We're sitting here in Dublin, we're able to support them.
So when these data centers are built, the infrastructure is built for you. Do you supply your own equipment then? The cabinets, all the...
So basically my role is to build everything that's inside that fence. So we're building the data center. Once we deploy our fiber, the machines are going to be landed, and then
you put those machines in directly.
There's a logistical team there that are infinitely better equipped to do this than I am. They will start to drop the machines. So that means the data center is going live. We can actually start to get services out of that facility.
Okay, very good. So I guess time is critical for you.
Yeah, time is always critical.
More than money.
Well, weirdly, no, we've been told they're both critical.
Yeah.
Both priorities.
Any questions from the audience here? Greg.
Just a question around integrations. I think everyone's spoken about the importance of being able to see data, and then also in terms of the overlap of the data, it's really important to see credits from two different data sets at a time. How are each of you approaching the integrations?
Is this our mic?
Yeah.
We're trying to. We have an open API, so if our customers want to pull the images to their own common data environment, they can do it that way, and we can also pull in their existing sources of data into our dashboard for most of the major players. We did make the decision to build our own systems for drone and for 360. They seemed like the obvious ones where there were good players in the market, but it made sense for a lot of companies who just wanted one system, where they hadn't committed, and it just made sense to have one password, one agreement, one invoice, and have that in place. So that's what we're aiming for with some of our existing customers. But of course, a lot of them have existing suppliers, so we want that visible within their dash. Or if they want to pull our own live stream or our own images as they see fit into their own dashboards, just give them an open API and all the support they need. Yes.
That works, man.
Yeah.
No.
Can I just add to that very briefly? Again, when you're talking about the integrations of loads of different solutions, I'd really advise look at the life cycle, because you're out there, right? Am I collecting sufficient amount of information? So what are all my tools or my solutions that are collecting data? What's helping me manage and store and secure and make that accessible? What are the tools then that are applying the analytical capability? So it helps you look across all those different tools to see how they'll actually fit together to ultimately get the balance, because that's what you want to get across your projects, get your balance. So again, that's a key. If that's a key takeaway, look, keep the data lifecycle in mind. It'll help you better understand the integrations, how they work.
Hello, good morning. I'm Ronnie and I'm DBS lead in BAM. So I have a question for each of you. So I'll go in order with presentation. Sean, I have one for you. Obviously, when Google took their data set, they are defined and you get the subcontract and the main contract then to get the construction done. Now, when you said that in the real-time analysis, obviously you need a lot of data to do that. So what I would ask is, what were the challenges of a software interoperability during the whole process? Second, when you were creating the data and analyzing the data, was anything overlooked? And how was the information management implemented during this whole thing? Because when you're looking, you're not just looking at one, you show that that's all across the globe. So obviously, information coming from across the globe is different. And how will this manage?
So I'll try and take these one at a time. So one, are things missed? Yes, they are. So as much as I think I said, we need to interpret the data and we're doing a lot of the analysis. There's quite a ladder of that information as it flows through. And what happens is it may be missing some of the gates, some of the warning signs, some of the dashboards might be going red. The people that are looking at, maybe they're not experts within that field. But because there are so many partner teams internally, it will eventually trigger at the right level. What we're trying to avoid is we don't want it to be at the end of the month when we're seeing an issue that occurred 3 weeks previous. That's too late. So there is, and I think we reiterated, is constant retraining of our teams, reiteration. Once we roll something out, and we used to be really bad at this, we come up with an initiative, we'd roll it out, everyone goes fantastic, and then it dies in the grapevine, and that continuously happens. And now I think we have got better of continuous training, it's almost a continuous rollout, so people are updating on their practices, and therefore it's less likely to get through those gates and less likely to be a miss on those. With regard to like, how do you do a global program? The only way, like, there's a certain level of information that's required at the site. Sites need a lot because they're dealing with all aspects, the full life cycle. They're dealing with all aspects. So they nearly need all of us. By the time you're rolling up and you're sitting as CFO in Google, you need very, very little information on a single project. You basically need to know what's the number that's going to finish up at and when am I going to have to pay it. That's the two pieces of information that person needs. So it depends on where you are. And so for a programmatic level, there's a certain level of roll-up of which we're trending certain information across the program. So I could be trending risks. Am I seeing commonality on risk? Am I seeing commonality in change? Is there an issue with my programmatic design that I'm seeing that we need to make amends? We're also seeing internal requests and changes coming through from there. So it's a higher level at a program, and that's the only way you can manage a diverse program like that. So I think I answered, hopefully.
Thank you very much for that. And then we have a software account and so I just want to ask, like, to the extent of data handover, how do you provide the solution for the data handover? Because the processing and everything is great. Because you have different format and software and everything included in that type of kind of stuff. So how does the data handover goes through time?
So any data that they create themselves, so we would have a media hub, so everybody creating their own data, very often that's sent straight to Procore or Aconex or their own common data environment. So that's automatically within their own environment. For the recordings, our default is to keep them after the project for as long as the client wants them. And previous to this, we had been doing that without charging, and that's built up. So surprise a few of you, we're going to start charging for that because we have to. And then there's the option of the full physical file handover. But what's really important for us is that the data controller is the one making those decisions, not us. It's not our part to say we're going to do this with your data. It's up to the data controller of the project to request either that certain users get removed and certain stay on, and depending on their own requirements for handover, sometimes it's controlled by the client, and sometimes it's controlled by the contractor, and there's variations on what we will be asked to do with it.
Thank you very much for that. Michael, amazing software, the way you showed the whole process and how the analysis is done. Just want to ask, because your software is with a lot of data, I mean, a lot of data, because you showed, I think, the whole life cycle of the project and business. So in that case, what are the baseline parameters in which you collect the data and try to run? Is it independent of the client, or is it independent of the type of business group? How I'm just confused about it.
You know, it's a good question. The fact is that we don't plug into any system. We collect data by sitting with, well, correct myself. We can ingest information from BIM, okay, to get an idea, but of the types of systems you would have with. Typically, if there's junk in, it's junk out, right? And we typically find that it is better to sit with a client. We can sit with the right people, right stakeholders around a table, and within 3 to 4 hours of asking those types of questions around their business priorities, the type of digital capabilities they have within their ecosystem, within a few days, having run the analysis and the model, we can give them a report. So contrary to what you think, we're actually, really gathering the data by really just questioning and understanding around the digital capabilities that exist within the project. A lot of it is front loaded in terms of the specific type of questions we're asking around the different types of business priorities. But that allows us to build up that model of the building and its capabilities. Does that help?
So just to follow on that, let's say the company, X company will have answer several questions. So the solution will be national based or regional based, or will it be like global based, like this due to, or would they give you the parameter that we need to get analyzed against these parameters? Generally, like how the hell can it go?
So the example I gave here when I was doing the demo was for one building. So we were understanding what are the digital capabilities within that building to be able to collect, manage, analyze, and deliver actionable insights for the business priorities identified. We work with some clients to do that across an entire portfolio. Okay, so whether that's regionally or globally, we can actually look across the entire portfolio. And now, because you're looking across the portfolio, you're looking at solutions, a hub spoke, and you're looking at collecting information from the edge or from the buildings, pulling that back to a data lake, being able to apply the correct management and analysis on that type of data. So whether you're applying this to a building, a portfolio, a project, again, it can be applied in multiple different ways. The key thing here is a lot of these, again, and I touched on this, there's a lot of data methodologies being used here. What AI and data analytics is helping us do here is automate and speed that process up to be able to move from, probably spending weeks and weeks with consultants doing this type of project in the past to something that can now be compressed down to days and even hours in some cases.
Okay, if there's any other questions, you could ask the speakers, like to stay on for a few minutes to could ask. Unless there's any last minute question, we might move on. Okay, thanks very much, Vinny, Michael, John.
You're welcome.
3 excellent presentations. To wrap things up, given this is a digital skills series, I have to use the opportunity to talk about training and competency development, and our CitA project has been a huge success this year. The most popular programs are BIM and soft skills, actually, which is interesting. I know at a previous event, we said 22% of the trainees were female, which is like amazing. Over 116 companies supported, 525 employees, over 5,000 training days. Absolutely phenomenal success. We're hoping for more of that at 25. This is the time of year when we actually start to sit down with the members and listen to what it is you're telling us is important. And I think one of the things we will be doing is doing a training needs analysis. We need to find out what it is you want us to train the network in. What will our theories or events look like next year? We've another exciting project in the SkillNet NMC Accelerator program. That's going to play a key role in our work. And of course, we want you all to come to Limerick on the 9th of October. This is our signature event. There's been a lot of talk about AI today, but I think what you take from this event is practical application of AI. And the fact that the machines are not necessarily going to take over, but they could do 90–80% of the workload, the heavy lifting, and then you can go in and interrogate the time schedule, the cost budget, whatever it is you're doing. Technology is there today to help businesses, and we're hoping for 120, 150, maybe more there next week. I know we've about 30 people staying on the eve of the event. We've got fantastic sponsors. This is going to be a super event. I think we were probably impacted by the proceedings in the law today, but I think the presentations were excellent. Michael is going to be joining us again in Limerick next week, and we hope to see you then. So listen, thank you so much. We're almost done with this series. With one more event to go. And actually the theme of digital twins is going to surface quite a lot next week. So we look forward to seeing you then. Thank you so much.